conclude this section with that individual.
Thank you, Ms. Bove.
Chair, the first witness in this series of witnesses is Captain Norki, and he's ready to take the oath.
Thank you. Good morning, Captain. Please, your mic. I think even this very important but brief issue should be on record. Good morning, Captain.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Thank you. Please place your full names on record.
Dale Christian Norkia.
Thank you. Do you swear that the evidence you are going to give is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? If so, please raise your right hand and say, "So help me God."
So help me God.
Thank you, Captain.
Chair, Commissioners, the statement of Captain Norkia is under tab 7 of the files in front of you. And Captain, can I confirm that you have a file in front of you with 3 tabs marked 7, 8, and 9, and your statement being under tab 7?
That's correct, Commissioners.
And Captain, in your statement, or in the file before you, there is an unsigned statement that we made corrections to. Can you confirm that this is the statement that's in your file?
That's correct, Commissioners.
And can you confirm that this is the statement you prepared for purposes of giving testimony before this commission?
That's correct, Commissioners.
Thank you. Captain, can you go to paragraph 2 of your statement where you deal with your background? Can you briefly summarize your background for the commissioners?
That's correct, Commissioners. I started my career in the police in 1987, underwent my training at Bishop Lavis College in Cape Town. Upon that same year, in December, I was attached to Crime Intelligence Soweto as a constable. Between 1995 to 2002, I was stationed at the then Syndicate Fraud Unit, Johannesburg. Should I proceed?
Yes, please. And more recently, or after 2002, where were you stationed?
From 2002 until 2007, I was stationed at the Sun-Up at OR Tambo Airport. From 2007, I was attached to the Serious Organized Crime Investigation Unit at DPCI.
And this is the current division you're attached to?
I'm currently at the Joburg office.
Thank you, Captain. Can we then go to the events of the 6th of December? You described getting a call from your commander, Colonel Matlole. Can you explain what happened?
Yes, on the 6th of December, which was on a Friday at around about 16:24, I received a call on my cell phone from Lieutenant Colonel Matlole from our office, whereby we had to attend to follow-up information in regard to people impersonating themselves as Hawks members.
And once she had given you that information, what other information was provided to you regarding this?
The address was given to us, which was number 137 Empire.
Oh, that's not necessary, Captain. we don't need to disclose the address. And did she explain where this information came from?
Yeah, she explained to me that the information comes from Colonel Serfontaine, our commander.
Thank you, Captain. And once you then had the address at your disposal, what did you then do with your team members?
I informed my team members who were with me at that stage around the Bruma area, and we immediately proceeded to the address to go and verify the information that was given to us.
And Captain, is there a reason that for this exercise to verify whether there were people at that Hawks members impersonating themselves there, that you would send yourself and 4 other team members? Is there a reason for this?
Yeah, the reason was basically just to go and verify the information.
And for a verification exercise, was it necessary to send 5 individuals?
That's correct, because we were a team there, and it would be more sufficient to have so many members there.
And you then proceeded. How many vehicles did you use to go to the address?
We proceeded to the address with 2 vehicles, a Golf and a BMW, white in color.
And when you then arrived at the address, what transpired?
Upon
Captain, your mic, if you can just keep them on. Yes, thank you.
we immediately noticed that it was a police operation in progress.
You first mentioned the time of your arrival. Please repeat that.
Yes, Commissioners, we arrived there around about 5:15. And upon disembarking from the cars, we could notice that there was a police operation in progress. Pardon? In progress, could notice that a whole lot of members around the vicinity of the crime scene. Police members clad in balaclavas and with rifles and sidearms.
And what else did you observe in paragraph 6.1? You talk about the members of law enforcement that you saw. At paragraph 6.2, you note some of the vehicles.
Yeah,
What were your
yeah,
observations?
some of the vehicles they didn't have registration. Some were unmarked as well.
And you say that this suggested that there was an operation underway.
Yeah, that's correct, Commissioners.
And then you also note that they were communicating, the officers, with radios.
Yes, yeah, some were communicating with the radios.
My apologies.
Captain, you also mentioned that they were somewhere in bulletproof vests, and you also saw uniformed officers.
That's correct, Commissioners.
So at that point, from your observation, you saw that it was a SAPS operation.
Yes, on what I observed, like also approaching the whole setup where the operation was, I mean, like with the way they conducted themselves, and through my experience witnessing police operations, I could notice that it was a police operation in progress, and there wasn't, like, if it wasn't a police operation, there was going to be like a confrontation,
Okay,
Commissioners.
thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Balo. You say that it was then immediately apparent that it was a police operation.
That's correct, Commissioners.
Captain, at this point, with your experience and seeing that it was a legit operation, why did you feel it was still necessary to continue with the verification exercise?
Why I felt that it was necessary to verify whether it was a police operation, just to get a reference, reporting back to my superiors.
Captain, you then say you proceeded and the first person you interacted with was a Captain Kruger. Can you tell the commissioners about that interaction?
Yes, my first interaction at the address close to the crime scene, I interacted with Captain Kruger. I introduced myself as Captain Norkia from Joburg office, and whereby he introduced himself as Captain Kruger from the DPCI Tom's office. And he informed me that, he also confirmed that it was a police operation from a national task team in progress.
Captain, at this point, you are now interacting with your counterpart from the Tom's division. Why was it not enough? You've seen that it was a police operation. Now you've talked to Captain Kruger, who confirms it's a police operation. Was that not enough for your purposes?
The reason why I had to interact with someone else that's involved with the scene is to get the reference to report back to my superiors.
So once you talk to Captain Kruger, you then say the next person you met was Captain Wanda.
That's correct, Commissioners.
Can you explain what happens then with the interaction with Captain Wanda?
Yeah, upon meeting with Captain Wanda, he came there, whereby I was standing with Captain Kruger, and he informed me that they were engaged with an operation whereby they executed a J50 warrant, an arrest warrant, as well as a J51 search and seizure warrants, whereby I asked him for a case number and or an inquiry number, and he didn't divulge that to us.
And you then say that when you asked him for these reference number, alternatively a case number, he responded by saying, tell your general to speak to General Khumalo.
That's correct, Commissioners.
You then say after this interaction with Captain Wanda, where you now don't get the reference or case number, you then establish contact with Colonel Matlole.
And then, yeah, that's correct, Commissioners. I established contact with Colonel Matlole, whereby I informed her about what transpired, and whereby she also informed us that we should withdraw, and I informed the members that we should withdraw, and that it was a legit police operation in progress.
And Captain, how much time did you spend at the scene?
At the scene, we didn't spend more than 15 minutes upon leaving the scene.
And then once Lieutenant Colonel Matlole said you can withdraw, what did you advise your team members?
I advised the members that we should withdraw, and we immediately left the premises, and whereby I reported back to her via like an SMS as to a short description or as to what happened.
And Captain, in your interaction with other members, did they note anything that they would have seen when they were attending the scene?
Yeah, the other members were a bit far from the crime scene. They were basically towards the end. And when I walk closer to the crime scene, I walked in with Warrant Officer Kadwa, where you were also engaged with some members of the task team.
Thank you, Captain. And is there anything else you want to tell the Commission about your involvement or presence at the scene?
Nothing. That's all that I can say.
Thank you, Captain.
Captain, was this the first time, or do you have other experience where you've been instructed by your superiors to go and attend to a scene because of supposed information that someone is pretending to be a police officer? Is this something common and that you have experienced?
No, this was basically the first time, Commissioners.
All right, thank you.
Good morning, Captain.
Morning, Commissioners.
How are you?
Well, and Sal?
I'm good. I have 3 points, and the first 2, I think you're just going to confirm what should be general knowledge. The address where you are based in Diagonal Street, from there to this address at Sandhurst, it's about 11, 12 kilometers, right?
I think it could be more than that, Commissioners.
Yeah. I've checked, I think it's 12 kilometers. And the point I want to make is really that if the team from the Diagonal Street office could go to Sandhurst to verify that this is a legitimate police operation, there was no need to bring people from Pretoria North and people from Mogale City to come and verify the same thing, because the team from Diagonal Street could clearly do that. And based on what you are telling us, you did in fact go there and verify that this is a police operation.
That's correct, Commissioners.
Yeah. So I'm worried about what the Pretoria people and the Mogale City people were doing at this address in Sandhurst. The other thing is, in your statement, you say immediately when you got there, it's paragraph 7, you could see that this is an official SAPS operation. So you saw that immediately when you got there. Now, what entitled you to a reference number and a case number in relation to the J51? Once you know that these are the police and you can see that your Tom's colleagues are there, you fulfilled your mission, because your mission was to go there and check if there are people impersonating the Hawks. Once you got there and you see that they are legitimate Tom's people, they are legitimate SAPS people, that's what you were sent there to do. And that's all you needed to report back on. I don't understand why you needed the J51 reference number or the case number for the operation, because that borders on interference.
Yes, Commissioners. Can I just explain why I needed the reference number? The reason why I needed the reference number is to report back to my superiors as to, like, normally what happens, I have to report back using a reference as to, we engaged with the investigators there, and they were engaged with this operation using this case number or this inquiry number. It was for our own reference as well.
But you are interrupting what they are doing, because if you are saying they must now stop and attend to you and give you details of the operation, you are interrupting what they are doing. That's my problem.
Commissioners, we were not interrupting with them because they came to us. We didn't ask for them, they came right there to us and informed to say that they are engaged with executing a J50 and a J51, and whereby I asked just for a reference whereby I can report back to my superiors as to say, we went there to go to verify this, and members were, and whereby I just report back to say members were busy with this regarding to this case.
I don't think you needed a reference number for that. And you could still report despite the fact that you were not given a reference number.
But it's a reference that would be needed from our office.
Did you get it
Commission.
eventually, the
I
reference?
didn't get the reference number because Captain Wanda informed us to say that he wouldn't divulge any much more in regard to the case. It's just what they were busy with, executing the J50 and J51 warrants.
So my point is you could still report to your superiors without the reference number because that was not necessary.
I could, that's why I reported it without the reference number with the commissioners.
Thank you.
Captain, what did Colonel Matlolo say to you when he gave you the instruction?
That we should proceed to the address and to go and verify whether, because there's information that there's members, to verify whether it's that there are members impersonating themselves as Hawks members.
And you say upon receiving that instruction, you immediately said to your team that you were with, let's proceed to that address.
Yeah, I spoke to the team and then we proceeded to the address.
And when you got there, you parked your vehicles and you proceeded, you in particular, with Warrant of Sakadebe, you proceeded to the gate.
That's correct, Commissioners.
Was there any discussion amongst your team, you and your team, what you're going to do when you get there?
Yeah, upon receiving the information, I informed them the discussion was about to go and verify whether there were genuine Hawks people there.
Yes. You didn't know what you were going to find there. You were just told there are people that are impersonating
That's correct, Commissioners.
the Hawks. And
That's
you
correct,
just
Commissioners.
proceeded, parked your vehicles and proceeded to the gate
That's correct, Commissioner.
without any plan of what we do if we find indeed these are impersonators.
No, the plan was there. We were going to act if we saw that it was an illegitimate operation.
What was the plan? And at which point did you discuss the plan? I'm putting this to you, I'm asking you this because you are going into a scene that you're telling us you knew nothing about, except that there are people who are impersonating the Hawks. So this is a scene you know nothing about.
That's correct,
At
Commissioner.
which point do you discuss a plan about how you're going to approach this, which you don't know anything about?
Hence that we were not going to rush into the scene as to just blindfoldly. We were going to approach the scene systematically if it was not a genuine scene, and from there we were going to call for more backup.
At which point did you or would you discuss a systematic approach? I ask as a layperson. I imagine you walking into a scene that potentially has got criminals who are armed.
That's correct,
potentially,
Commissioner.
and I'm assuming you know nothing about that scene, unless you know what's going on there from your discussion with Captain Matlole, with Colonel Matlole. Unless you know what's going on, I'm assuming you go there knowing nothing about that scene and you potentially expect there are criminals. At which point do you discuss your approach to that scene?
Hence, as it is approaching scenes like this, whereby there could be a potential confrontation and such, we always have members that are on standby to come immediately, more force towards the scene.
And you would have, summoned them once you you meet resistance.
That's correct,
So
Commissioner.
effectively, what you're saying to us is you walked into an unknown scene without a plan at that point and you walked straight up to the gate.
No, like, it's not that we walk straight up to the gate.
Yes.
What we observed from a distance, we could see that it was a police operation in progress, Commissioners.
Okay, so even before you got to the gate, you were satisfied this looks like a legitimate police operation.
That's correct, Commissioners.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Chair, one more question. Captain, if I can refer you to tab 9 of the file in front of you, you'll see there's a sticker, of course, marked EAK1. It's the last document in the file. Can you see that?
Just repeat that again.
In tab 9 of the file, the yellow tab, you'll see there's a yellow sticker that's marked EAK1.
Yes.
And it looks like a screenshot or picture of a conversation. At the top, it says EAK1, Colonel Serfontein.
Yes, I see it.
And that is a incident report
That's
that
correct.
was sent to Colonel Serfontein. Have you seen that incident report before?
Yes, I've seen it before.
And is this an account of what happened?
That's correct, Commissioners.
Now, if you go to number 2 of that incident report, it says they informed us that they executed a J50 and J51 warrants, and they didn't want to show us J50 and J51.
That's correct, Commissioners.
Following on Commissioner Kumalo's question, did you ask to see those J50 and J51 warrants?
No, I did not want to see them or ask for them, Commissioners.
So is that not an accurate reflection then of the incident report?
Just a refresh?
Is point 2 accurate, an accurate description of what transpired?
That's correct, Commissioners.
But
But
you note,
before you say it's incorrect, were you at the same place all the time whilst you were at the premises? Weren't some of you here, others there, and so on?
Yeah, I was in a radius of 10 meters whilst I was there, Commissioners.
And were you the only one that spoke to the police that you found there?
It was myself and Warrant Officer Kadwa. Like, as we were, I was...
Of your group?
That's correct,
Of
Commissioner.
your group, were you the only one that spoke to the police that you found at the
It was me and Warrant Officer Kadwa.
All right, thank you.
and Captain, do you know if Warrant Officer Kadwa requested to see the J50 and 51 warrants?
No, because I was the only one talking to one of the investigators.
Oh, so you were the only one
Yes,
talking.
That's correct, Commissioners.
I suppose the only issue is that from point 2, it looks or suggests that a request was made to see the J50 and 51, and that request was then denied.
No, we did not want to see any of the warrants.
Right. Thank you, Captain.
Can I just check? Captain, this document, you were asked if you've seen it before, this very one that you're looking at. What
Yes,
does it
ma'am.
mean? What does that answer mean? Did you prepare this or was it forwarded to you?
This document, as I mentioned early on, I gave a short report to Colonel Matlole, whereby she sent in a full report.
Okay.
Upon being in contact with me, she verified whatever is in this this document in front of me, whether it's that what transpired there, then which I said yes.
Okay, so you didn't prepare this?
No,
this
I didn't
WhatsApp
prepare.
message?
She wrote it and confirmed to me that it was, is that the document?
Okay, can I just confirm this with you? In that item 5, it says their vehicle were not having registration plates on. That from your statement, doesn't seem to be an accurate reflection of the vehicles that were there. I think in your statement you say some vehicles.
That's correct,
Okay,
Commissioner.
so to the extent that this number 5, may represent that all the vehicles of the people that were running the operation.
No,
did
it's not all the
have-
vehicles,
That's not
Commissioner.
correct. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Bell.
Thank you, Captain. Commissioners, we don't have any further questions for this witness.
Thank you, Ms. Paul.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you very much, Captain Norkie.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, we request a 10-minute adjournment to get the next witness set up, but there is a request from the witness for his face not to be shown because he is a field officer who undertakes and participates in undercover operations, and his concern is that by disclosing his face, he will be compromising some of those ongoing investigations and may also compromise his further participation in undercover operations. He has only made us aware of that request now. He says he had made it previously to the investigating team, but the evidence leading team only became aware of it shortly before we started this morning. We don't think that it's an inappropriate request given the nature of his work, but of course we're in the chair's hands as to whether he will allow it. It's not necessarily a safety issue, but it is an operations issue given the nature of his work, that showing his face will expose him insofar as he's participating in those kind of operations.
So in practical terms, then, will he be in the witness stand? And if so, how do we not see his face?
Chair, the proposal is that he gives his evidence from somewhere else within the building via virtual platform, which has already been arranged in anticipation that Chair may approve the request for his face not to be shown.
That's in order.
Thank you,
Thank
Chair.
you. We'll adjourn. We'll hear from you.
Thank you, Chair.
Oh, look, I'm looking in the wrong direction.
Thank you,
Very
Chair.
sorry.
Thank
Miss,
you,
Mube. And what happens, I don't know which way to look, what happens with regard to the third witness?
Chair, the third witness is Major General Kadwa. He is available today, but only at 2 o'clock. And so we would ask when we're done with this witness for an adjournment. Alternatively,
Where is the general? Where is the general?
he indicated to us that he's tied up in meetings all day today and would only be available from 2 o'clock. If it is not convenient for us to hear him today, we can try and arrange for him to come.
We would prefer to sit
Immediately.
and
Yeah.
yes, and hear all three witnesses and adjourn, rather than that break and us just hanging around.
We will
That's our preference. So please let us know as soon
We
as
will
possible.
engage with him, Chair.
Thank you. Let's adjourn. We'll resume when we are told to. Thank you.
Recording in progress.
Thank you, Chair. The next witness is Warrant Officer
Yes, Ms. Ncube.
It's Warrant Officer Khadebe, and he will be testifying virtually, and he will be taking the be sworn in, Chair.
Thank you. Warrant Officer, good morning. Please place your names, full names on record.
Paul Khadwa.
Do you swear that the evidence you are going to give is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? If so, please raise your right hand and say, "So help me God."
So help me God.
Thank you, Chair. Warrant Officer, in front of you there's a file with 9 sections. Your statement appears in section 8. Do you have a file divider with the number 8 on it? Yes. And there's a statement there from page 1 to 4. Can you confirm the signature on page 4 is your signature?
I confirm.
And do you confirm that the statement is the statement prepared for purposes of the evidence you're about to give today?
I confirm.
Okay. And do you confirm the correctness and truthfulness thereof?
I confirm.
Okay, if we can then commence with your introductory paragraphs, if you can just give the commissioners a brief background of your career as in the police force.
Thank you, Commissioners. I'm a warrant officer in the South African Police Service under the Division Directorate for Priority Crime Investigation based in Gauteng, in Johannesburg.
And who do you report to?
My commander is Lieutenant Colonel Matlole.
And that's within the Serious Organized Crime Investigation Unit.
Correct, Commissioners.
And can you tell us what it is that you do within that unit?
I deal with serious and violent crimes. I do investigation. I'm a detective.
Okay, and you obviously here to give evidence about the events of the 6th of December 2024 and your involvement therein. Can you tell us what transpired on that day?
On the 6th of December 2024, Commissioners, I was with a team of about 5 members, including Captain Norkia. Captain Norkia was the one leading the team. On that specific day, in the morning, we submitted an operational plan to our office that we would be conducting an operation in the vicinity of the East Rand.
And sorry, can you just repeat, where was that operation?
Our operation was in the vicinity of the East Rand area.
Okay, and you were with Captain Norkia for that operation?
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
continue.
Yes. For the purpose of that operation, we had on our Hawks Golf t-shirts that is branded DPCI Hawks. We conducted that operation from the morning, and in the afternoon at around about 1600, we went to the Bruma area where we had our debriefing as we were finished with our operation. During our debriefing session, Captain Norkia received a cell phone call from Lieutenant Colonel Matlole. We received that call in our presence because we were still standing together. Lieutenant Colonel Matlole requested, we could hear the conversation between Captain Norkia and Lieutenant Colonel Matlole, because I recall she was asking the captain if we are anywhere near the vicinity of Sentin, because our operational plan was supposed to be in the East Rand. The captain said, no, we are still here on the East Rand side. We are in Bruma. We just finished our operation. Then I overheard her telling the captain that, please, there are members somewhere in the vicinity of Senton that are saying they are from the Hawks office. Can you and the team please proceed there and verify who those members are? She
And
said she didn't have.
sorry, Warrant Officer, and by the team, did the Colonel know that you were with Captain Nokia and the other officers at the time?
Correct, because I overheard the captain explaining to the colonel that we just finished our operation. We are having a debriefing in Bruma, so I'm about to excuse the members. So that's when the colonel said, please take the team, proceed to Senton, because there are members who are saying they are from the Hawks office. They are somewhere in Senton, and we do not know anything about an operation that is conducted by the Hawks in Senton.
Okay, and then on page 2 of your statement at paragraph 5, you then refer to receiving a WhatsApp from the Colonel. Can you tell us about that?
Okay. We left Bruma without the address because the colonel said we should proceed meanwhile to Senton. The address will be sent to us whilst we are on our way to that site. So as we were driving, the colonel sent the address to my cell phone via WhatsApp. That address came to me at 1628, which is the address of our destination where we're supposed to go and see who those members are.
And just to confirm that that is the address in Sandhurst.
Correct.
Yes. Sorry, Warrant Officer, you fade from time to time. If you could just move closer to the laptop so that we can hear you clearly, please.
Am I clear now?
Yes, thank you. Please proceed.
Okay, we were traveling in 2 vehicles. It was a white BMW and a white VW Golf GTI. I punched the address into my GPS, my maps, Google Maps GPS, and we proceeded there. We arrived at the address at exactly 1714.
Now,
I'm certain.
can I just ask you, you say that the address was sent to your WhatsApp, but the conversation with the Colonel was with Captain Norkia. Do you know why the WhatsApp was sent to you with the address?
I took it because the colonel knows that we are together with the captain. So I took it, maybe that's why she sent it to me.
Okay.
Because she knew we were. Yeah.
But you yourself didn't have a conversation with the Colonel?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I only overheard the conversation between the captain and the colonel because we were standing together.
Okay. Yeah, please proceed. You're at paragraph 6 where you say you arrived at 1714.
Yes, commissioners. We arrived at 1714. The reason I'm certain about this is because I checked on my electronic Google Maps timeline. It tracks my whereabouts, my movements.
If I can ask you in that same section to go to page 5, you will see there's an annexure PMR1.
Correct, I'm here.
Can you identify that for us, that document for us?
Yes, this is a screenshot from my timeline maps, Google Maps, that I took and I sent it with my statement.
Okay, and can you tell us what we're looking at when it says BP? Was that where you were having the debriefing?
Correct.
Okay. The next thing then says driving, and it says 1644 to 711. That was when you would have left to go to the address.
Correct, when we departed the BP garage.
Okay, and it then says that you arrive at, it's got an address 158 Empire Place at 1714 to 1724.
Right.
So you say the 1714 is the time that you arrived.
You're correct.
Okay, please proceed.
Okay, upon our arrival, I observed there were vehicles at the entrance of the premises.
You again
into-
fading, warrant officer. Can you just move closer?
Am I clear now?
Yes, it's better.
Yes, upon arrival at the address, at the entrance of the address we came to, there were vehicles parked outside and police members standing at the gate. We drove onto the left-hand side opposite the entrance, opposite the road, across the road actually, where there was a black Mercedes-Benz that was parked with three males that were standing behind it. We parked in front of that Mercedes. And then as I alighted the motor vehicle crossing the street, I noticed a colleague of mine that I know, Sergeant Sipho Mthethwa. I know Sergeant Sipho Mthethwa because I used to work with him at PIU. And I also recognize other guys I used to work with from the PIU, Provincial Investigation Unit.
What is the PIU, the Provincial Investigation Unit?
Right. As I was crossing the street, he shouted, greeting at me, "Hey, hola, hola. Hey, are you also sent here?" But we were speaking in an African Zulu language. "Are you also sent here?" I said, "Hey, gents, can't you what's going on here?" At that time, Captain Norkia was also crossing the street with me. I think he was on my left side, but a little bit behind me. I walked towards the members, the ones I know from Provincial Investigation Unit. Then I asked them, "Gents, what's going on here?" And then Sipho was talking to me. He said, "Hey, you see that guy there?" He pointed from the three gentlemen that were standing behind the Mercedes-Benz. He pointed the guy that was wearing a cap, spectacles, and a backpack. He pointed to that man and saying, "You see that idiot is busy taking videos of us and he's taking pictures. He's talking to someone on the phone, telling that person that we said we are from the Hawks office." Then I looked. When I looked at the person he was pointing at, I recognized that man. I know that man to be Malcolm X. He once came
Sorry,
to my
warrant
office.
officer. Can I just ask you, so you say that Sergeant Mthethwa was the person that you had this exchange with, and he's from the PIU.
Right.
Was he with the members that were conducting the takedown operation, or was he from a...
To be honest, I do not know what was happening there. I don't know whether he was part of the people that were, because he was standing outside at the gate with a group of people that I know, those guys from Provincial Investigation Unit, the PIU.
Okay, and so you say that the person that he pointed out to you, you knew him as Malcolm X. How do you know him? How do you know Malcolm X?
Okay, I know Malcolm X because he came to my office. I think it was in 2022. It was in the afternoon. I was leaving my office. I was the last person at the office. It was in the afternoon. As I walk out, I found him knocking at the door. We've got a glass door, but it's got that access control, so you can't come in. Someone must come and open for you. So I found him outside. And then he told me he's Malcolm X, and then he's got information. Because I was the only person at the office at that time, I allowed him to come in. We sat next to the door here. Then he asked me if I knew him. I said, "No, I don't know you." He went on TikTok. He opened up his phone on TikTok, and then he showed me videos of him helping homeless people in Sandton, like he was giving them food and money. You know, the people, the homeless people. And then he said, "That's me. I'm normally with these homeless people. I help them out, and they normally give me information. This information I used to share with the police from Sandton. Now I don't trust them anymore. Someone directed me to the Hawks office. I need someone that I can relay this information to." I said, "No, you are the correct place." So I gave him my number. I also took his number, but I wrote it on the diary, I think. And then that was the last of me seeing him. I've never met him since after that. And then next to him, there was an African male, a short African male. I don't know him. I've never met him before. And then the third person that was standing with them, I recognize him also. That is Advocate Tammy Hadebe. The reason I know Advocate Tammy Hadebe is representing suspects in the South Gauteng High Court in a case that I am investigating. Can I proceed?
Yes, please proceed.
Okay. While I was talking to Sipho Mthethwa and these colleagues of his that are with him, I then asked them, is there any members from the Hawks here? Then they pointed me at Captain Kruger, whom I only knew his name later. At that time when they pointed him, I didn't know him, who he is. And when I turned and looked at him, he was standing with Captain Norkir.
Can I just ask you, Warrant Officer, why did you ask if there were any members of the Hawks on the scene?
All right, because the instruction was very clear to find out if there's any members of the Hawks that are conducting an operation at Sandton.
Okay, please proceed.
All right. After that, I saw Captain Norke also talking to another guy. I don't know who he is. And then shortly after that, we didn't even spend time there. Captain Norke said, guys, no, we are done. We can now go back. And then we got into our cars and then we drove back to BP Garage where we had our debriefing.
And do you recall what time did you leave the scene?
Okay, if we go back to my timeline, it was at 17:24. We arrived at 17:14 and we left at 17:24. We hardly stayed there 10 minutes. I think it was 10 minutes if I calculated properly.
And you say after that you went back to the BP garage?
Correct. And when we left the place, when we were walking to our cars, I could see Captain Kruger also walking towards the car that was parked across the street. So I take it he was also leaving that time.
Do you know whether there was any report that was compiled or filed regarding this incident by the Hawks?
Okay, in our normal duties, for every task we are given, we must send back a proper full report back to the commander. Whoever is in charge at that time, the senior, would type on WhatsApp a full report and it would be sent back to whoever gave the tasking.
Did you ever see a incident report or any report that was prepared regarding the incident?
No, I've never seen it, but I was told by Captain Norkia that he would draft a short SMS or WhatsApp report back to Colonel Matlola.
Now, according to your electronic timeline, it seems that you were at the address for about 10 minutes. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And can I just get an understanding of what exactly it is that you were doing in those 10 minutes? I know that you say you were talking to Sergeant Mthethwa, but was there anything else that you were doing insofar as official duties are concerned?
Nothing, Commissioners.
And from your point of view, you not only because you knew the people that were on the scene, Sergeant Mthethwa being one of them, but also because of what you observed, you knew immediately that it was an official police and legitimate operation.
Correct, Commissioners.
So, again, just to find out from you, why stay for 10 minutes if you knew that from the onset?
All right. Commissioners, when we are working as a team in the police, normally the person in charge would be the one that is doing the talking. We cannot just jump into a crime scene and everyone do as he pleases. That's why we handed over the platform to Captain Norkia to address the issue. So it was just unfortunate that I saw people that I knew So I couldn't just stand, and that's why I went to them and we interacted, we talked, we spoke. So that 10 minutes, we had given it to Captain Norkia to explain our purpose for the visit, and thereafter lead us, tell us as to what must we do.
And then just finally, did you notice if Captain Norkia was speaking to anybody from the takedown operation?
I don't know whether there were members from the takedown. I saw him talking to Captain Kruger and another police member. I think that is Captain Wanda.
There is a report in the incident report that was submitted where there is an indication that Captain Kruger had tried to get some information, but it seems that the takedown team chased him away. Did you witness any of that?
No, I didn't witness that.
Okay. And then you are now aware that there have been allegations that members of the Hawks team were attempting to interfere with the arrest operations of Mr. Katiso Molefe, and that those members had golf T-shirts branded with the Hawks emblem. That would have been your team, correct, that had the Hawks T-shirts?
The members that were wearing Hawks T-shirts were from my team, that's correct.
And
But
did you...
the part that we didn't even know whose house or address we were visiting.
Did you witness any of your team members interacting with the takedown team in a manner that suggested that they were attempting to interfere with the arrests?
That never took place. I never witnessed any.
And you say that you were quite a few members that went, but in your evidence, you only reference Captain Norkia from your team and yourself. Where were the other members of your team?
The other members of my team were standing across the street next to our vehicles.
And what were they doing?
They were just standing, like I explained, with our unit. In most cases, we attend to crime scenes that are already attended by station members or other units. So it is a norm for us that when we attend to a specific crime scene, the only person that will start the conversation to where we are going to will be the person with a higher rank amongst us.
Warrant officer, please speak close to the mic.
All right, am I clear now, Commissioner?
Yes, yes.
When we arrive at a crime scene, the officer with the high ranking rank would be the one that is doing the introduction and will explain the purpose for our visit to that crime scene. Then only in a case where the scene must be handed over to us, there will be a walkthrough first, and then the scene would be properly handed over back to us. So that is why even when we got to that scene, we didn't see any danger. That is why we allowed Captain Norkia to be the one going to do the introduction and explain the purpose for our visit there. It is just that unfortunate part where I saw someone I knew, then I left the members there, then I crossed the street and I went to the person I knew.
Can I ask you to just go to section 9? The file divider that says 9, and if you can go to page 5. It is Annexure EAK1. Do you have it?
Yes, I have it.
Now, if you go to a paragraph, there's numbers there, and if you look at number 2, it says they informed us that they executed a J50 and J51 warrants, and they didn't want to show us J50 and J51. In your statement, you say that you didn't ask for any details of the operation because it was none of your business. Now, it seems here that somebody from your team did ask for these details, or it suggests that somebody did ask for these details. Do you consider that to have been some form of interference by a team member if they were asking for that information, which you consider to be none of your business?
Okay, that is why we allowed Captain Norkie to be the one that's doing the communication when we arrived there. I don't know what led them to come to this asking of J50s and J51s, because our instructions was that to find out if really there's members from the Hawks that are at Sentin that are conducting an operation, because the officers have no clue of such operation.
Okay, so if somebody had asked for this information, you consider that to not have been part of what it is that you were asked to go and do there?
I would say so. I would say so.
Thank you, Warrant Officer. Chair, no further questions for this witness.
Thank you, Ms. Mube.
Warrant Officer Kadwa, in your statement at paragraph 8, where you mention Sergeant Mtetwa, if you go after where you say how he greeted you and this is how you're commonly known, you then say, when I approached him, he asked me, did they also send you? You see where I'm reading?
I can see, Commissioner.
Yes. They in that sentence, did they also send you? Did he say who is the they he was referring to?
Commissioner, he did not say, but that was his exact words to me.
Yes.
If I can put it in Zulu, I think it would make more sense.
Okay.
Operation.
I see. And the rest of that sentence, you asked him what was happening. He pointed to the three gentlemen behind the Mercedes-Benz. Standing on its own, he pointed to the three gentlemen behind the Mercedes-Benz after you asked him what was happening. It really doesn't mean, it doesn't make sense as it stands there. Do you care to explain more?
Yes, Commissioner. I will also explain it in Zulu because he spoke to me in Zulu. Tileslima lesama prelis. Lo faki school pack. Lo upiz ustacha ama video, ustacha ithombe. Yeah, uji angazu kulma nobani funi. Uchela lo mungu uti tina test puma kuma Hawks. Does it make sense, Commissioner? How I came to knowing who is he talking about.
Repeat what you said, Warrant Officer.
Yes.
And then move closer to your computer, please.
He pointed to the guy that was wearing glasses speaking in Zulu. Tile slima lesi sifaka amabrel. Lo baby school bag. Ubizi usithatha ama video ushoot ithombe la angazi ukhuluma lobani efonini umtshela ukuthi thina sithe siphuma kuma Hawks. Utshela lo muntu lo efonini ukuthi thina sithe siphuma kuma Hawks masifika la.
Okay, and you say this person that is describing as Islim Malisis Fagama Brel, is that
Yes.
the person you
The
say
one big
is-
like school bag.
and that's the person you say is Malcolm X in the next paragraph? Is that the same
Correct,
person?
Commissioner.
All right. And then lastly, from me, you in paragraph 10 then describe the three people, Malcolm X, advocate Hadebe, and then there's another person there that you say you don't recognize, the shorter gentleman next to Malcolm X. But then in the next paragraph, and I just want to make sure that they link up, in the next paragraph 11, you start by saying, while I was chatting to them, who is them there?
It was Sergeant Tetwa and the team he was with, the PIU team he was with.
So it's not the Malcolm X party.
No, I never spoke to them.
All right. Thank you, Warrant Officer.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Good morning, Warrant Officer.
Morning, Commissioner.
I don't think you can see me. I don't know what's wrong with my video. I just need you to confirm two things for me. One is in paragraph 12 of your statement that you were not on the scene for more than 10 minutes. So you confirm that what you were sent to the Bryanston house, sorry, it's not Bryanston, what you were sent to the Sandhurst house to do, you could do that in 10 minutes, right?
Because of the nature of, like how I found the place to be. Like I found people I knew that they were police officers.
Yes. So I'm still uneasy about why the other Hawks members were there for 50 to 60 minutes, because it's quite clear that what the Hawks were sent there to do, and your team actually confirms this, you could do that in 10 minutes and leave the scene. They didn't have to be there for 50 to 60 minutes. But I just need you to read paragraph 14 of your statement into the record. I'm more interested in the third sentence, but just read all of it into the record, please.
There was no reason for me to interfere with anyone's duties. As soon as we arrived on the scene, it was clear to us that it was a legitimate police operation. I interacted with the members that I knew. I did not ask them about the details of the operation. It was none of my business.
Thank you.
Warrant Officer, I don't know whether I should call this advice or a request. Look at the last sentence of paragraph 7 of your statement. There you say, I also noticed 3 black males standing behind the black Mercedes-Benz. That's a very anachronistic way of describing people.
I'm sorry, Commissioner. I actually meant to say 3 African males.
I'm not sure that you even want to say that. You saw three men standing behind the black Mercedes-Benz. Did it matter if they were black or white or African or white? Didn't matter. Race there is totally irrelevant. This has everything to do with how you would find people described, especially in trials. It would be a Bantu male, Bantu female, black male, black female, when race had nothing to do with it whatsoever. From now onwards, you should please try to avoid that. If race is irrelevant to what's spoken about, there's no need to specify it at all. Thank you very much, Warrant Officer.
Thank you, Commissioner. Noted. I'll note, Commissioner.
Oh, there's a question from my co-commissioner, Commissioner Baloyi.
Yes.
I'm still here, Commissioner.
Yes, Warrant Officer, just so that I understand, we're looking at this sin against the context of this sin that we are discussing with you and your presence there, is that there is a Hawks team that comes there with, I think it's Captain Kruger that you mentioned in the statement. We know now we have evidence that there was also a helicopter which was mobilized, and your team also gets mobilized to be on the scene, and all of these are Hawks mobilized entities. Now, and the reason you all say you were given to be at the scene is you were told that someone is pretending to be from the Hawks, and you must now go and verify this. Now, and here's what I'm trying to understand is, in the normal course, do you, for example, as a team member or as a team, do you know what other teams of the Hawks on any given day are doing and where they've been deployed? Or their deployments, in fact. Is that something that is shared across the Hawks on any given day of operations?
Commissioner, for all Hawks members, before conducting any operation, the member must first send an operational plan to the office, to the immediate commander, explaining briefly what operation is he going to conduct, where is he going to be, and with how many members. We sometimes utilize members outside the DPCI, meaning our uniform people, our flying squad, or our TRT. We mention them in the operational plan. That operational plan is sent to our immediate commander. Our immediate commander will therefore send it to provincial. Provincial will therefore send it to head office. This is not shared to the members on the ground. It is just for commanders to know the whereabouts of the members and what they are doing.
You would not have known, for example, that Captain Kruger on the day had another operation elsewhere.
Correct, Commissioner. I wouldn't know.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you very much, Warrant Officer.
Chair, there's just one more question for, we are able to share the screen now. Warrant Officer, are you able to see the photograph on your screen?
Correct, I can see it, Commissioner.
You indicated in your statement that you saw a black Mercedes-Benz. Is that the Mercedes-Benz?
Correct, that's the Mercedes-Benz, Commissioner.
And you say you saw 3 gentlemen, but there's only 2 now. Can you identify any of them?
I see one is banded there with red sneakers, so I see 3. Though I can't see his face, that one there.
Oh, yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Yes, he's standing against the pole.
Yes, Commissioner. The one that's wearing a blue shirt, I think it's a blue shirt on your right-hand side.
Yes,
Not the one with the hands at the back.
yes.
The one that's, I think he stretched out his arm. That is Advocate Tami Khadebe.
Okay, and the other gentleman with his hands behind his back, that's the gentleman you don't know.
I don't know the gentleman.
And the person with the red sneakers?
I can't see him.
Okay, so that person was not the person that you saw with these 2 gentlemen when you arrived?
I can't say that now because I can't recognize exactly the clothes he was wearing, but he was standing with these 2 gentlemen.
Okay, but the
So
person...
possibly it could be.
Continue.
Possibly it could be him, but he was standing with these 2 gentlemen. It's just that I don't know when this photo was taken.
Okay, but when you arrived, you saw these 2 gentlemen with Malcolm X
Correct, Commissioner.
by this vehicle.
Correct, Commissioner.
Okay, thank you. No further questions, Chair.
Thank you for real now. Thank you very much, Warrant Officer.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Chair, we were able to get General Kadwa to come in earlier. We haven't established whether he's here as yet, but he is here. If we can take a short adjournment to get him ready.
Years ago, I'm sure more than 15 years now, trial situations, we used to sit and the witness would be called in while she was sitting here. Is there a problem with that?
Well, Chair, I haven't seen him, so I don't know where exactly he is, but
All right,
if we
okay.
can go and
we'll
call
hear
him.
from you. We'll
Okay.
hear from you. Thank you.
Just
Let's
a short
adjourn.
adjournment, Chair.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Thank you, Chair. The next witness is Major General Kadwa, and he has no preference.
Good morning. Is it still morning? Good morning, General Kadwa. Please place your full names on record. Thank you. Do you swear that the evidence you are going to give is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? If so, please raise your right hand and say, "So help me God." Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. General, could you please just switch on the microphone and leave it on? Yes, just the one. Thank you. In front of you, you should have a file that has a section 9 at the end, a file divided with section 9.
Section 9, that's my statement.
Yes. It has your statement from page 1 to 4, and then on page 5 is an annexure EAK 1. It's an unsigned statement, and you'll sign it when you're done with your evidence, but do you confirm that this is your statement that has been prepared for purposes of you giving evidence today?
Thank you, Commissioner. I do confirm that this is the statement.
Do you confirm the correctness and truthfulness of the contents of the statement?
Yes, I do, Commissioner.
Okay. If we can then start on page 1 of the statement at the introduction, if you could just give us a brief summary of your career in SAPS and your current position.
Thank you, Commissioner. I am a Major General in the South African Police Service and currently serving as the Provincial Head of the Directorate for Priority Crime Investigation in the Gauteng Province. And as it is obviously known, we are more commonly known as the Hawks. I enlisted in the South African Police Service in November of 1985, and I have now just completed 40 years of uninterrupted service in the police. And most of my operational career in the police has been spent working in the narcotics as well as the organized crime environment. I have been in the Hawks since its inception, when we were officially established in July 2009. And in this current capacity as the provincial head of the Hawks, all the members in Gauteng province in the Hawks, regarding the operations that they are undertaking, as well as the personnel, I am directly responsible in terms of running those operations and accounting in that respect. There are 6 components that are within the Hawks in Gauteng that we are dealing with. If you want, I can name them.
No, I don't think it's necessary for these purposes, but it may become necessary as to the team that had been sent out on the 6th of December, if you would then at that stage identify which component they fall under.
Thank you, Commissioner.
So then if we can then proceed to page 2 of your statement at paragraph 3, you of course know that you are here to speak about your participation or involvement in the events that transpired on the 6th of December 2024. If you could just take us through that, please.
Thank you, Commissioner. So on the 6th of November, which was a Friday.
December.
I think November is now embedded in my head, sorry. Yeah, on Friday, the 6th of December 2024, at around 16 hours, I was on official duty and I was on my way to the Hawks National Excellence Awards, which was held here in Pretoria. At that stage, I received a telephone call from our former national head, General Lebia, who recently retired. And on this call, he inquired whether I was aware of any Hawks operation underway in Sandhurst, in Johannesburg. My immediate response to General Lebia was that I am not aware of any operation that is undertaken. Then General Lebia instructed me to verify whether any of our units were conducting such an operation in Sandhurst, and then he WhatsApped me the specific address, which was 137 Empire Place in Sandhurst. When I received this instruction and speaking to him, I literally understood it to mean that I should send our members to go and specifically verify if there are Hawks members operating on that particular address. I had no knowledge where General Labia got this information from. I just basically received whatever the information that would have come along, Commissioner.
General, if I can just ask you at this stage, did you ask General Labia where he got the information from?
Commissioner, I did not. I did not question the source of the information. Because he was calling as a national head, I accepted it that he's requiring myself to follow this up.
Okay. Please proceed. I think we're now at paragraph 4.
Yes. I then contacted Colonel Serfontein, who is a unit commander of Johannesburg Serious Organized Crime Investigation, to send members to verify if the Hawks were indeed conducting an investigation at this specific address, and I sent him the message via WhatsApp. So in terms of the Hawks in Gauteng, we basically mirrored according to the police districts that they are utilizing. So the Johannesburg unit will have the serious organized crime, the serious corruption and serious commercial crime that will be covering that jurisdiction. But when I called Colonel Serfontein, he also was not aware. And considering it's Friday afternoon, I basically took it upon myself to just ask him rather to, and he never know about the operation. And I basically instructed him to send members to go and verify if this was indeed a Hawks operation.
And at this stage, were you still on your way to the awards when you had the conversation?
Yes, I was still on my way to the awards.
Okay. At paragraph 5, you may proceed.
Okay. So as I was on my way to the awards, to the best of my recollection, I was not aware now of how many phone calls or whatever it is I would have had with Colonel Serfontein, because one would allow them time to go and get things done. But when I arrived at the Excellence Awards in the east of Pretoria, we basically would assemble as the senior management of the Hawks, together with the dignitaries that would have been invited to a VIP waiting room. And whilst I was there at the VIP waiting room, in engaging others, it is then that I also got an impression, because people were inquiring, General, you know about any operation that the Hawks is undertaking and that kind of things. So from there I could already see that others were already kind of picking up something. But I cannot remember the granular details, but I did remember that at some stage people were indicating that the Hawks were doing checks also in Johannesburg relating to this similar issue, if I can call it that way. So that is when I also learned that this thing. But as I said, I don't have the granular details of those discussions. It's people were talking in that this thing.
General, before we go on to the next paragraph, I just want to clarify one or two issues. In your statement, you say, to the best of my recollection, I did not follow up with Colonel Serfontein throughout the afternoon. Earlier in your evidence, you say you don't recall if you would have called him after that initial call. So I just want to clarify if perhaps there's an error in the statement. Are you saying that you may have called him after the initial call to follow up, but you don't recall, or that you didn't follow up with him?
No, it is possible that I would have called, but as I said, I don't have the benefit of the messages now. So, and as well as the itemized billing for me to have checked. So I wouldn't be able to give any further explanation on that. But To the best of my knowledge, I may have called him.
And other than the initial call from General Labia, did you have any further interaction with General Labia via phone calls before you arrived at the awards?
Not to my recollection.
So if you did follow up with Colonel Serfontein after the initial call, it would have been of your own initiative, not that there was somebody following up with you on
Absolutely.
progress. Okay, and then you say you don't know the finer, or you can't recall the granular details of what transpired when you arrived at the Excellence Awards, which gave you an impression that it was not just you that had been asked to inquire about whether there was a team that was conducting an operation. Do you know if there was any, or if anyone mentioned or there was any indication that another unit within the walks had also been asked to go and check, not just whether they were having a conversation about if there is an operation, but whether there was actually an instruction given to another unit?
I don't think I would have got it in so much of depth, but as I said, when we were there were people initially inquiring from me, General, do you know anything about this and whatever? And then as the process was going on, remember it's VIPs and whatever, but I would have picked up later where there was an indication that there were checks done also in Johannesburg. So that's how I would have put two and two together, but I didn't go to any detail in that regard.
Would one of those people that you had interacted with, would it have been General Mboto?
It's possible. It's possible. Because when I would arrive there, you know, the usual protocol, you will be greeting your colleagues, including your head office personnel. So I would have met him there, and there's a possibility he would have spoken to myself. But as I said, I never, at that stage, thought it now necessary now. I can't recall now.
And as the provincial head, who do you report to?
But in terms of the reporting lines, we are directly accountable to the national head of the Hawks.
So you would have at that stage reported directly to General Labia?
We're reporting directly to General Labia, and it remains like that in terms of the protocol.
Okay.
Although if you take General Mboto's position, he is the Divisional Commissioner for National Priority Offences Operations. So in certain instances, if there are operational matters that he is directly coordinating, then we will be accounting to himself.
In other words, if it falls within his area of responsibility, you would have to follow an instruction given to you by him?
Yes.
Okay, but that was obviously not the case here.
Not because the national head would have been the one who called me directly.
Okay. I just want to confirm again, so you did have a conversation with General Mboto that day?
I would have definitely greeted him. We would have chatted one or two things. It's possible he could have also checked with me on this issue, but as I said, I can't now recall that.
Thank you, General. Then on page 3, you may proceed at paragraph 6.
Okay, so yeah, so after some while, after about 18 hours, I think it may be more around, I'd rather say more around 18:30, because 18 hours will be when our function would have started. Yeah, so whilst we are still at the award ceremony, now the award ceremony will be underway. I received this WhatsApp message from Colonel Serfontein, basically confirming they did the checks, and according to the message, he basically indicated the WhatsApp message that was sent to me. They basically confirmed it was a legitimate police operation undertaken by a multidisciplinary team. I no longer have that WhatsApp messages because I normally would clear my WhatsApp messages, and therefore, in order to be able to ensure that I be able to confirm what I would have provided to the national head as our final report for his listing, I would have consulted with Colonel Serfontein to obtain the specific final feedback message which we provided to the national head, which is attached as EAK1 here.
Okay, we can go to EAK1. So this would have been the incident report that Colonel Serfontaine sent to you, and which you then on-sent to General Labia that same evening.
Yes.
Do you recall if you received a response from General Labia to this?
I cannot recall receiving any response.
Okay, if we can then just deal with the response. Did you follow up with Colonel Serfontaine telephonically regarding this report, or did you just accept it as the report and send it to General
I
Labia?
basically accepted it as a report and forwarded it to the General Labia.
Okay, and were you aware of the identity of the person who resided at the address that you had asked the team to go to?
Absolutely not.
Okay. If we can then deal with your paragraph 7, which is part of your conclusion.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. So, following evidence presented at this commission, I can confirm that member of the Hawks, I can confirm, okay, let me put it again. I have heard evidence presented before this commission that members of the Hawks were interfering with the arrest operation of Mr. Katiso Molefe on the 6th of December 2024. I'm not aware of these allegations of interference until I heard the evidence presented by witnesses before this commission. I personally had no intention to interfere in any legitimate police operation. My understanding is that the Gauteng Hawks who attended the scene on my instruction to Colonel Serfontaine were not the first Hawks members, and that is also presented in that message of EAK1, to arrive and did not stay on the scene for more than 10 minutes. So the members of Johannesburg Serious Organized Crime, from my understanding, they remained for a brief period at this particular scene. I do not have details of what the team did when they arrived on the scene, other than what is contained in the feedback message. Having regard to the contents of the feedback WhatsApp message, I do not consider this to have been interference, especially given that the team indicated they were there only for 10 minutes.
You may continue to paragraph 8.
In hindsight, regarding the instructions that I gave to Colonel Serfontaine, I should have taken it upon myself to ask General Labia for more information regarding his instructions to verify. However, when I receive an instruction from the national head, I normally accept his bona fides as my superior, and that the instruction being given has a legitimate purpose.
Yes, you may continue.
Okay, thank you. So had I been approached by a member of a lower rank or a member of the public directly, I would have adopted a different approach, where I would basically have done some due diligence in terms of obtaining the details of the person, why they are basically making these kind of claims, and then depending on the situation, depends who's calling, it can either be myself, or I could then delegate one of our officers from one of our operational components to go and conduct the interview, and then be able to then establish if the information is credible for us to be responding to such a claim.
If you can then read, I think it's the last sentence that starts with, "I do so in this instance."
Okay. I did not do so in this instance because I accepted that if the instruction is coming from the national head, he would have satisfied himself that the source was credible and that I did not have to do so a second time.
Thank you, Commissioners. That's all the questions I have for this witness.
Good morning, General.
Good morning,
Yes.
Commissioner.
General, maybe to start off, as head of the Hawks Gauteng, the Tom's team, does it fall under you as well?
No.
Just explain that structure.
Okay. So the TOMS is a national competency, which stands for the Tactical Operations Management Section. It is a head office based competency. However, it is there in the larger interests of the Hawks as well as the broader law enforcement fraternity. So what the Hawks will, what the TOMS will normally be doing is proactive operations, providing also tactical support when required. And in terms of the TOMS, we know that a lot of the operations they are doing, as I said, they are serving the broader law enforcement fraternity. There is times they will work in my province as well as in other provinces in the mutual interest of basically resolving cases. In some cases, they would be the ones having the information. In other cases, they will receive the tasking, but they report directly, as I've indicated, in terms of our command structure, to the Divisional Commissioner, National Priority Offences Operations. In this case, is Lieutenant General Mboto.
Okay, thank you. Now, when General Libya calls you and say you should go and verify this operation, you would have responded to him that you are going to do that, to execute the instruction as
Yes,
you describe it. You would have indicated that. Did he inform you in that telephone call where he's giving you an instruction and you respond to him that you're going to execute the instruction? Does he inform you that he's already spoken to General Mboto about the same issue?
I had no such idea.
Okay. So you didn't know that somebody else has been given an instruction to go and verify?
No, Commissioner.
Okay. And does it happen, is it common and has it ever happened before this, that General Libya called you to ask to verify an operation of the Hawks, in your recollection?
Okay, General Libya would not have called me previously with a similar kind of situation.
Yes.
He would often call me as the provincial head to basically follow up or to get feedback on operational matters, high-level investigations we are conducting. In certain cases, to verify maybe a report we made. He's very pedantic in that regard.
Yes. But I'm asking specifically about a live operation that's happening, to call you and say, I want to know what's happening right now in that operation.
Never before.
This was the first time he did that. And I understand your statement to say, in fact, your answer now, that you didn't know that there was another team that has been sent to go and do exactly that which you sent Serfontaine to go and do.
Absolutely not. In fact, just maybe to clarify, so when the General asked me if our province, if I'm aware, if any operations are done, and when he provided me the address, I took it upon myself then, because he's giving the instruction, check this address out. But maybe he was asking me to maybe check with everybody, you know, instead of sending people. But I understood it to mean send people, because we are in Gauteng.
Yes.
There are people claiming to be from the Hawks. And in terms of our reputation and with the national head calling, it was going to be very important that we be able to do that.
Yes. But the point that I was seeking to establish with you is that you didn't know that General Mboto was also looking at the very same issue that you been asked to look at.
Not in this case, until I arrived at the venue,
Yes.
and then I got a sense there was another team that was there.
Okay. And then you say at paragraph 8, I should have asked General Libya for more information, but you explain why. You say, when I receive an instruction from the national head, I accept the bona fides. I don't have any difficulty with that. And then in the next paragraph, you say, had I received this instruction from someone of a lower rank or a member of the public, I would have at the very least, asked for details of the person who had given the information, and I likely would have tasked an officer within my unit to interview the person to establish whether the information was credible. It is that last part. Is it fair to say you would expect, given what you say here, that you would expect that General Libya would have verified the credibility of that allegation that there are people pretending to be hawks in an operation?
General Libya is an experienced
Yes.
police officer, experienced detective officer. Surely, if people would have called him, he would have had to do his due diligence. And it is on that basis that I've accepted this issue.
Yes.
But as I've indicated in this paragraph, if somebody had called myself,
Yes.
then I am now the first responder on that information. And it is how I would handle that information becomes very important.
Yes.
And although it's a side issue, in the Hawks, we field quite a lot of situations. I won't say daily, but at regular intervals, where there are people who are bogus, who operate as the Hawks, and we are duty-bound to be able to ensure, firstly, if somebody is calling us and if we ignore something like this, there could also be certain other consequences at a later stage. We are dealing in a very parasitic kind of crime ecosystem where there is corruption and collusion at different levels. Even the prison walls are not safe. We have done operations from the Hawks, specifically in my province, which was aired on carte blanche, where there are syndicates operating from correctional services facilities in this very city, and where they are able to obtain extensive information regarding individuals that they can basically prey on, to be able to call to say, I'm from the Hawks and I have this investigation or I have this warrant of arrest. They have mastered to manipulate people with social engineering tactics, just enough for those people to make speedy payments. And we have successfully dealt with syndicates involved in that way. We have people who would be calling in all kinds of mock-up situations where people will call ordinary people, even pretend they are sitting by some form of police listings. We had instances where people would have called me whilst I was the provincial head and claiming that they are from the Hawks, and there would be people who were telling us they've been wearing Hawks golfers. We would set up sting operations. We have arrested people. Not want to go into it because these cases are before court. But I'm just giving Commissioner a lowdown of the kind of realities that we would be facing with. And I think the important thing in this position of trust is we have to be receptive and responsive in the way we deal with people.
And in your responsiveness, you still check the credibility of the allegation. I imagine if I called you in the morning and said there are people here, that will not be sufficient for you to send 5 vehicles to my property.
There would have to be certain amount of, I'd rather say, during that telephone call, or depends in what way the persons approach you, just to get some sort of basic before you deciding to what risk levels or threat levels you are going to take such a response forward.
Thank you. Thank you, General.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Chair.
It's still morning. Good morning, General.
Good morning, Commissioner.
I keep looking at my watch because I can't say good morning after 12. General, is there some tension that you are aware of between the Hawks and the subs or the task teams that were executing the operation in Sandhurst?
Let me talk about myself first. I think the way we operate, because we are very much about collaboration, it is very important that we are not transactional. It is very important that we maintain very strategic partnerships in dealing with people. From myself, I think I normally enjoy quite a, I'd rather say, courteous relationship with my counterparts and able to get ourselves moving forward in doing things. But to answer your question, I think it would be a big lie if I told you that there was no kind of simmering tensions in certain quarters. But I think the most important thing as a professional police officer for us is to ensure that we subscribe to our code of conduct, our oath of office, and be able to ensure that service delivery is professionally executed to our nation. And as the Hawks, we are also dealing with international partners, so to also ensure that when we're dealing with them, that at all times we be able to display ethics, integrity, unity in the way we are doing things.
Thank you. In your response to one of the earlier questions, you said there could not have been interference because your team was only there for about 10 minutes. What, in your view, would constitute interference? If they were there for an hour, for example, would you regard that as interference?
I think the most important, if you're looking at interference, is what exact conduct those members would have done. If they went there to try and do things that would be improper in trying to say, we would want to know where you get this and starting to verify things, I think then you're getting into this. But from what I heard in the testimony here, I am very satisfied that there was no interference by our officers or other officers, because they just basically did the basic thing to go there. Once they confirmed they were police officers, they got some basic details, and they basically would have left. So for me, that is definitely not interference.
No, but let's take a step back. In the middle of your answer, you said if they started asking questions and started looking for things, that would be interference. Did I understand you correctly?
Now, if they start, if they starting getting into deep stuff, but I mean, if you say, who are you, where are you from, that basically, there is no interference in that, because...
So if they said, you've told me that you are executing a J50 or J51, let me see it. Let me satisfy myself that you are in possession of such document. Would that be interference according to you?
I think that is going to be going in that bounds, if you really now, because once you have confirmed they are police officers, once they have explained you they are doing an operation, I think that is sufficient. Now, if you are really demanding these other things, then it will be a problem. Perhaps if the people were refusing to show you their appointment certificates or give some basic credentials, then you can see there may be a reason for us to follow up that. For example, there are instances where people will claim, maybe not necessarily to be from the Hawks, another area that they like to use, we are from crime intelligence. And they will go to certain premises, and the way they will operate, they will able to do things, I'd rather say, in a way and get away. But when officers are responding, you will find that in checking up on that, you will find that they are police officers, but not necessarily from crime intelligence, because they're trying to use another police division so that if anything has to be done at a later stage, you'll be already on a wrong track. But if you do those basic things, that is not interference, Commissioner. Really, I think that is where they have at least checked, because when you give feedback, your principals may get back to you to ask, did you write down the names of the people? Because today we are operating in an environment where many things, as I indicated, there are people even cloning police vehicles, rapid response vehicles, where the TOMS team, when I was the acting component head for organized crime investigations, there was an operation undertaken by the TOMS team where there were cloned vehicles used to rob delivery vehicles operating from the airport to various areas of Midrand and Pretoria, carrying high value items like cell phones and that. And in that instance, the syndicates were wearing police bulletproof vests. They would be wearing some sort of police uniform enough to kind of this thing, and actual cloned vehicles. So it just shows you to what extent we are dealing with a parasitic criminal ecosystem.
General, you've listened to all the evidence and you've also heard from your subordinates. Can you think of any reason why the members that were executing the takedown would regard Hawks' presence and conduct on the 6th of December 2024 to constitute an interference? Can you think of any reason?
Okay, to be very impartial, surely if you are executing a legitimate operation, bona fide, you want to be able to concentrate at that operation because you are working at a high-risk environment, looking at the operation they were conducting, looking at the broader evidence. So surely you do not want all these sideshows because concentration has to be given. But it is in this case, when the Hawks is receiving the issue, and as I said, I only received the information on the back end to say people are claiming to be from the Hawks. We are just checking that part. There I cannot see any interference. But if we went and did something beyond that, then that will be interference. I can also tell the commissioners, I have worked as an operational officer in narcotics and in the organized crime for the vast portion of my career. And in many areas we go, we will get the flying squad, we will get the highway patrol, we'll get the local police station, all coming to that scene. They want to see who exactly is there because certain communities in this crime ecosystem we are in, they will call the station commander, the community police forum, and they find ways and means to come and check. And the best way to deal with that is the normal interpersonal relations, to be courteous. You will go out, you will, for example, we operate in certain communities where people are dealing with a lot of cash. For example, in the Chinese community. And in the areas that they stay, they maintain a close relationship with the police officers or with the station commander. And I know when we have been doing operations on suspected brothels in some of these areas, we'll be running sting operations. Whilst we're there, then you will find either if we're doing observation duties or if we just done the operation, then there'll be people from the flying squad or the local station calling to say, General, you'll never announce your presence here. But at the same time, I will explain the station commander, once we do an arrest, we have to come to your police station to register the case docket. But we cannot tell you in advance for operational security. We are dealing with a high-risk kind of organized crime environment, and more of the operations we do have to be indoctrinated for the ultimate success.
And lastly, General, what have you learned from this unfortunate episode? It seems to me that there is no proper communication between SAPS and Hawks and various units within law enforcement. Because if there was, at the level of generals, somebody could have inquired from SAPS, do you have an operation in Sandhurst? If you do, then I received a call that somebody was impersonating the Hawks. You have assured me that it's your operation. I take your word for it. That's the end of it. What can be done better in terms of communication at that level so that things like this do not happen again? There could have been a shootout between the Hawks and the task team at that address if one thing went wrong. What can be done to improve that communication between the various law enforcement units in our country?
Yeah, I think very importantly, I think this commission, as well as the ad hoc committee we are following, I think certainly we need to basically digest all the different scenarios that we have seen. And I think as law enforcement and currently with the Hawks being one of the premier police directorates responding to national priority crimes, it is going to be of critical importance that we are going to be united in motion, and we would have to develop, or rather say, mechanisms that we can be able to synchronize in the way we will operate. But with that said, I don't think this is to be very real and not to be naive. Whether we are watching the FBI in the United States, whether we're going to any other jurisdiction, these professional issues in one or other way do have dynamics. So I think it's very important that we need to be very sober about these issues and not just try and confine this one incident to be the alpha and the omega, but it is an important lesson because we are dealing with high value targets, and it is very important for ourselves that when we are dealing with them as law enforcement, as South Africa Incorporated, we have to be united in motion. So we'll have to develop mechanisms. So if we are running these operations, there could be other ways that we may have to employ that is less intrusive. And certainly dealing with our adversaries, the last thing we want them to be able to detect is that there's some form of division or there's some sort of dissatisfaction. So we have to develop a very pragmatic, a very high-level kind of structured approach in which operations. But with all that said, I can assure you that things still have to be indoctrinated. I think what we are following in this commission, what we are following elsewhere, we are dealing with high levels of collusion and complicity, and you have to be very, very tactical and strategic in the way you basically execute successful operations.
Thank you, General.
You've used indoctrinated twice. I'm not quite sure that I understand the use of that word in this context. Can you please explain yourself, General?
Thank you, Commissioner. I can see you listening attentively. I hope my academia will explain it correctly. I know indoctrinated in other terminology means you brainwash somebody. But with the exposure I have, dealing both locally and internationally with organized crime, and to basically, I think, very relevant to what I'm responding to today, is due to all these dynamics that we're dealing with the issues of interference, with the corruption and collusion, with the access people have, and even in certain instances, you may, as a provincial head, or in the case of the national head, or the divisional commissioner for national priority offences operations, there will be certain operations that you will do. They will be basically not following the standard protocol. You may choose a team and they will account directly to you and no one else. And you will manage everything in that operation where there cannot be any opportunities for others to interfere and that kind of thing. So there will be people reporting, the whole reporting lines will be collapsed so that that operation, and I think if you're looking at what we're following here, I think there is a model, if we can call it now, followed by PKTT, that is not in the regular frame of the police. And as I said, horses for courses, where we have to improvise this for maximum and optimum effect, then we must do what we have to do to defeat our adversaries.
Thank you.
General, just lastly from me, this operation that you were asked to verify or instructed to verify, it's happening in your neighborhood, as in Gauteng. It's your province. You are head of Gauteng. Is it fair to say that you would have been the first port of call, as it happened with General Sibia, because Libya rather, I apologize. As it happened, in fact, you are the first port of call because this is an operation in your neighborhood. Is that correct? It's a fair thing to put.
Yes,
And I put to you because we see the involvement of TOMS, which you have said has a national competence. And it would seem to me that it may well be an overreach or an exaggeration, in fact, to go to the TOMS before coming to you or instead of coming to you. As the owner of the geographic area and therefore someone who would ordinarily have better insight on operations in Gauteng, Hawks operations in Gauteng. Do you care to comment?
No, thank you, Commissioner. As I indicated, when the National had called me, I understood go and check this address in the literal sense. But I did arrange for people to go. I do not know what was the instructions then given to TOMS or to General Mboto, who would then be the one directing TOMS in dealing with it. And also to maybe just elaborate, other than this issue, the Hawks is also a national competency. All these interprovincial borders, in reality, are basically not meaning too much in the sense, Gauteng, while geographically being the smallest province, but it is in terms of its economic weight, in terms of its, like we have all the multinationals, the banks, I think the bosses of crime are sitting here. It's about crime economics. So with that, many of the operations and even by other Hawks units, from national to other provincial levels, they will be following up in many cases, maybe a cyber investigation, a cyber fraud investigation where the payments would be made here. Maybe they have to come and arrest attorneys or accountants. And even in that case, as I indicated about the indoctrinated approach, the provincial head of that province, he will make his own risk assessment to say, can I call General Kadwa before to say we are operating in your area, or do we call him after the operation just to let him know now it's safe? So in anybody making inquiries about Hawks operating here, then it can be at least something he can be able to know what's going on.
With that explanation, are you saying there would be nothing unusual if General Libya had said to you, there's a pretend operation in the Free State, go and verify it? You're not suggesting that?
No, I'm not suggesting that.
Yes.
Yeah, no, not in, okay, let's put it this way. This was a very basic exercise. It was just to verify. But if it was something that the national head, who has the prerogative, decided there is something very sensitive, and maybe there is corruption and collusion in a specific province, and then he is now tasking my province, he's assigning my province or myself to basically oversee that operation, then I can go and also operate in any province because he has mandated me to be able to undertake that investigation for reasons best decided by himself or at head office level.
Yes. I want to discuss the specific facts.
Okay.
The facts where there is an operation in Sandhurst. There's an allegation, apparently, that the people who are conducting this operation have said they are members of the Hawks. So your superior calls you and says, go verify. And I was testing the simple proposition that this being your province, as provincial head, indeed, you would have expected, rightly so, that General Libya would call you to verify because this is your area, where this particular operation is happening. You accept that?
Absolutely, because when he called me, that's exactly how I understood it.
Yes.
And that is why I sent other people. I had no indication
Yes.
until, as I said, later when I was now picking up the vibes.
Yes.
But I had no indication, Commissioner.
Okay. Thank you, General. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, General.
Chair, those are the witnesses for today. We had scheduled Brigadier Mokoena to return, but he's only available tomorrow, and so we will slot him in with the other witnesses that are scheduled for tomorrow. So we would adjourn early today, Chair.
I do not know how your scheduling stands, but just a We will discuss the issue of, is it what colonel? I've forgotten the rank now of.
Brigadier Mokoena.
Brigadier, I'm very sorry to demote him. Brigadier Mokoena. We'll discuss it in chambers, but from where we are sitting, we do not think there's a big rush with that. If it's going to interfere with your scheduling, it can wait until the new year. I think there are more important. I'm not suggesting it's not important because it relates to the question whether there was interference. That's important, but not for the immediate. But we are going to discuss. If you felt that there are time constraints and you were just pushing him in, take it from us that it's the sort of thing that you can easily think about having next year or in the new year. But we will talk about it.
Thank you, Chair.
More. So let's adjourn until 9:30 tomorrow.
Yes, Chair.